understand the issues, ongoing issues of the society, and provide some working solution for it. It's not enough to just know that these many fundamental rights or these many rights are there in constitution. Apart from that, you also need to understand why we need rights in the first place and what is the ultimate purpose of having these rights, not just the static information with respect to the right. So basically we have differentiated the entire exercise into two parts. One is the learning, another is the practice. NCRTs, it is said that they are must, everyone must read those, and I will also agree with that. Identified few topics within polity which we believe, like by analyzing the past 10-15 years prelims paper, that repeatedly there are few topics which are, one can say, favorite of UPSC, that they again and again go for that.
Hello everyone, Visualize is coming up with Fast Track course for Prelims 2026. So in this video, we are going to discuss the features and benefits of this particular program, specifically from the point of view of polity and governance. So we are joining today by Himanshu Kishore sir, who is going to tell us what are the features specifically from the perspective of polity and governance. So very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Paritosh, for having me. I always appreciate connecting with the aspirants.
Okay. So, sir, the very first question, I think students, whenever they start to prepare for this examination, the polity is a go-to subject. But once they delve into it, they feel very overwhelmed with the nature of questions, with the kind of syllabus. So, what are the challenges which students face as far as polity subject is concerned?
All right. So, Paritosh, basically, polity is a go-to subject because it is very interesting, as well as scoring. Because if you look at in prelims as well as in mains, a significant number of questions basically come from this particular part of the syllabus. So that is one reason. The scoring part as well as the interesting part, because the issues or the concept that we study in polity, basically we see their application in our life, in our day-to-day life, in our surrounding, whether it is the Institute of Supreme Court or the Office of Prime Minister or Chief Minister or any other political issues. So many of them are there in current affairs. So that add to the fascination for the subject.
So now, as you discussed, the topic is very contemporary in nature. So many times when students start to read the topics, once they see the question paper of prelims specifically, they see a lot of variety of questions. Some questions are of very factual nature. Some concepts, some topics require a conceptual knowledge. Some are of current affairs or contemporary topics are also there. So how should one approach polity specifically from the perspective of prelims examination, given the nature of questions which UPSC has been asking?
All right. See, before I discuss about the approach of this subject, polity in particular, I believe that there is one clarity that all the students must have when they approach this examination. And that is the clarity about the nature and the purpose of this examination. See, this examination, the civil services examination, basically is meant to recruit civil servant who can serve the society, today's society. All right. Now, when they are meant to serve, so by serving, basically what is expected here, they are expected to understand the issues, ongoing issues of the society, and provide some working solution for it. Okay. And in order to understand the issues of society and to provide solution for it, they need to analyze, or they need to have analytical ability with respect to society from all angles. All angles means social angle, cultural angle, historical angle, economic angle, legal and political angle. So, I mean, if you look at the syllabus of this examination, for this reason only, we have so many subjects that we need to study. One thing. So, ultimate goal is to prove to UPSC that I am a suitable candidate who can analyze the social issues from all these perspectives. Now, political perspective, legal political perspective is one among them. Okay? So, now in order to understand the political issues or the issues of society from legal political angle, you need to have some conceptual clarity of the subject which we are referring here as polity. Okay, so this is the thing. So because of the end goal, things are always going to be a bit dynamic. things are always going to be a bit complex. But in order to be efficient at that, you need to have some good understanding of the polity concept. Okay. Now, what UPSC does, UPSC basically they never repeat their question in prelims or in mains. 99% of the time they don't repeat. The topic, of course, will be the same because the syllabus is same, but the questions are not repeated. One thing is this. Secondly, UPSC basically always try to ask questions which are relevant from contemporary perspective. So that's why they always keep their questions dynamic. So in order to basically answer these questions efficiently, one need to have clarity of the static concept, and one should also have the understanding of the fundamentals, ultimately why this concept exists in the first place. For example, fundamental rights are there in polity and one of the most important topic. So it's not enough to just know that these many fundamental rights or these many rights are there in constitution. Apart from that, you also need to understand why we need rights in the first place and what is the ultimate purpose of having these rights, not just the static information with respect to the right. So this is, I believe, is the challenge that people, when they start in the beginning, they basically mostly focus on the concept without paying attention on the linkages and the relevancy in the first place, why they are needed.
So one and all, I can understand this key every topic, not just polity, whatever is the syllabus, it is something which students are going to do once they join civil services as their career. That is what the purpose is.
Certainly.
Right. So now, sir, as you have given a very good clarity on what is the understanding of subject and how we should approach it. Now, the second challenge which I specifically feel is they feel overwhelmed with the nature of content which is there. There are certain standard books. Sometimes NCRTs are a very good source to be read upon. Then, as I discussed, there are current affairs as well. So now, how should one approach polity specifically, giving the nature of content which is there, and what would be the right content to read as far as polity for prelims perspective is concerned?
See, the most authentic source to learn about Indian polity is the Constitution of India. Okay? I mean, that's the purpose of constitution. When we study, like the ultimate purpose of having a constitution is to provide clarity about its polity. Okay. Now, the difficulty there is that constitution, one thing is this is very vast. Secondly, the constitution language is difficult and complex to comprehend. So these are few challenges, because of which there are a few authors who have written some very good books. These books are very popular. For example, like D.D. Basu, Lakshmikant, Subhas Kashyap. Okay, so many, I will say, commentaries on Constitution of India's are there. And these commentaries basically simplify the knowledge which is there in the Constitution. So it's good. Apart from these, NCRT books are also very important and very, I will say, efficient, or efficient way to basically learn about the Constitution. Okay, so that is there. But sometimes the problem here is because of this plethora of sources, this problem of plenty become a thing here. Okay, so this, in order to deal with it, I will say that one should minimize the commentaries or the sources that they are referring to, because there are many, and ultimately all of them are talking about the one original source, and that is the Constitution of India. So, I mean, NCRTs, it is said that they are must. Everyone must read those, and I will also agree with that. But apart from that, you can pick one of these books, or you can be in touch with with some faculty, and they may guide you about it. Like particularly, you can have this approach. First you read this, then go for this and that. So that should be the approach. You can pick any of these standard book along with the NCRT. That I will suggest should be the approach.
So the ultimate goal has to be to understand the constitution.
The constitution, yes,
Constitution,
certainly.
right.
The constitution.
Okay. So now again, as we have discussed the subject, the nature, the content, sir, in this FTCP course, how we are going to approach this subject, given the nature of challenges we discussed, the kind of resources, current affairs. So how exactly we are going to approach the subject of polity in this course of FTCP?
All right. So in FTCP, basically what we have done, we have identified few topics within polity, which we believe, like by analyzing the past 10-15 years prelims paper, that repeatedly there are few topics which are, one can say, favorite of UPSC, that they again and again go for that. ठीक है. And these topics no doubt are very important to understand to the underlying philosophy of the constitution. That is also a connection that is quite visible. So that's why, like, we have identified, as we called it, high yield zone of polity, that we have selected few topics. So in a very time bound manner, like in 18 classes, I'll be covering polity there. And the goal is that have this surgical strike sort of on polity, where we will be selectively looking at only those areas, or will be brushing our clarity of those concepts which basically belong to these high yield zone of polity. So that will be doing, and along with that, some practices, some MCQs, and based on the PYQs of UPSC, we'll be practicing, and we'll be basically figuring out the clarity of those concepts.
So it is a very well crafted approach where again we have analyzed previous year question papers, the recurring topics, the most important areas, and then we are going to in a very lucid manner and in a very I think 18 classes you discussed. We are going to cover that in 18 classes. Again a very good approach to prepare polity just before prelims examination from prelims perspective. Right. So now, sir, again, as I discussed about FTCP, apart from the classes, any other thing we are going to give? Because again, prelims is where again students are supposed to solve questions. So are we giving something to students in this course as well?
Yes, so there is this personalized mentorship will be there. There will be access to Sandhan, which is basically a compilation of the questions based on topic, and which are crafted like keeping the UPSC style of asking the question. So on framework or on that line, we have big question bank of the MCQs. So access to that will also be there. And in general, so a lot of emphasis will be there on the practice along with learning the concept. So basically we have differentiated the entire exercise into two parts. One is the learning, another is the practice. Because many a times what students do, that they basically pay attention on the subject or learning, or the learning more number of concept rather than practicing what they already know. Because let me put it this way, just because you or anyone understand a concept does not mean they will be able to answer the question from that concept in a effective manner. That doesn't happen. This is a myth that people assume. It is like just because you know how a shot is played in cricket doesn't mean you will be able to play it.
So,
It's like that.
Right. So certainly it's going to be a full package specifically for the prelims examination. So thank you so much, sir, for joining us today and again guiding us that how we are going to approach polity from prelims perspective, as well as how we are going to approach in this FTCP course.
Thank you. Thank you, Paratosh.
Thank you, viewers, for watching us today. Again, you got a clarity that again how we are planning to go about this FTCP course specifically from polity and governance perspective. Take full benefit of it, because certainly prelims is a very important stage of this examination, and again a dedicated preparation is very much required. So take benefits of the course and excel in the upcoming prelims examination. Thank you so very much and all the very best.